Welcome to my blog Viewer's Choice. This is basically a blog about the opinion I have regarding the different vlogs I see relating to Pakistan anchors. The blog which today I saw was related to Lieutenant Ajmal Shoib. Now, Ajmal Shoib is an anchor based in Pakistan. He used to work as a chief executive officer and as an MD of Fauj Fertilizers, which I think he has retired from. Now he runs a blog named DDP Analytica. DDP, I think it stands for Defense, Diplomacy and Politics. When I talk about Lieutenant General Shoaib, I find it little funny because he is one of the most funniest person I've ever seen. He, along with Zaid Ahmed, Oriam Abuljan, they are some of the biggest liars of all the anchors I've seen. They can cook up stories out of nowhere. They are basically highly fundamental people and they hate the Hindu religion, and normally these people they associate nationalism with the religion fundamentalism. This Lieutenant Ajmal Shoaib, he is a big supporter of Imran Khan and he sometimes considers himself as part of establishment. He thinks that China is basically a savior for Pakistan, and ultimately they are going to protect Pakistan militarily as well as financially, and he hopes that China will remove Pakistan from the financial difficulties they are having right now. In this blog, he basically talks about the visit of Chinese finance minister to India. Basically, he sounded little disappointed that a Chinese foreign minister should visit India because he considers India to be his enemy. He would be more happier if China and India are in the constant state of war, and the Chinese foreign minister or the Chinese president is always saying bad about India. In his blog, he mentions that the Chinese foreign minister, after his conference, OIC conference in Islamabad, where he was a chief guest, and after visiting Afghanistan, he had visited in India. He is very happy to mention about the negative comment which was made by the Chinese foreign minister in relation to the Jammu and Kashmir at OIC, but conveniently he fails to mention that the comment was rejected by the Indian government. He also conveniently in his blog overlooks the China's abysmal track record of dealing with its Muslim minority, especially the Uyghurs. He really does not care or bothers about the Muslims in Uyghurs. In his blog, he mentions that China had warned Taliban not to allow its territory to be used for terrorism for other countries. By other countries, he actually means Pakistan. But the question which I would like to ask him is, do Taliban really exercise that control over their area, or are they going to listen to China? Because they are not listening to Pakistan. Pakistan is the country which had established Taliban, which has made Taliban, it had financed Taliban, and still today Taliban is not listening to Pakistan. Pakistan have asked Taliban many times to eliminate TTP and the terrorism organization of Balochistan, but Taliban has not been able to do so. So are they going to listen to China is a question. And also, did China give any advice to Pakistan? Pakistan, which we know is an epicenter of terrorism and has used terrorist group as part of its state policies, has they advised Pakistan to not to allow its territory to be used against other countries? This statement is really laughable. Now, this visit to India, it wasn't a regular visit, it wasn't a planned visit, and the response which China got from India was not what they wanted. It was, this visit was conducted between his visit to Afghanistan and Nepal, and also China cannot expect a normalized relationship when they are, with their aggression and expansion which they are conducting at our northern borders, such as in Pang, Tasu, Chuset sectors, in Sikkim, in Despang Plains, in Galwan Valley, etc. In his blog, he mentions about Chinese foreign ministers meeting with our foreign minister, that is Indian foreign minister and NSA, Ajit Doval. And both our foreign minister and NSA had advised that China must disengage before there can be any normal relationship. This is quite natural, but the anchor, which is this Lieutenant General, he claims that India is responsible for the Chinese aggression. According to him, since Ladakh is a disputed area and China claims it to be part of China, and since India has revoked 35A and made it a Union territory, China became angry and decided to annex whatever part it claims to be part of China. What he is advising India is that India must negotiate with China. What he really means is that India should hand over this territory to China. Similarly, he wishes that India maybe should hand over Jammu and Kashmir to Pakistan. So he feels that India should hand over this territory to China. He threatens India, saying that China being more powerful and India will find itself helpless. So it is better that we just hand over this territory to China. And China has established some permanent structures and defenses, and it has built some roads, so it is prepared to take over these areas. He also claims that China had to infringe the Galwan region because because the CPEC, which is China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, it runs near the Galwan, and to protect this CPEC, China had infringed the Galwan region. He claims that in spite of all this happening in the borders, as a favor to India, China foreign minister had come to India so that India could improve our economic condition. And he claims that since India has very good relationship with Russia, one day America, that's United States of America, will impose sanctions on India, and India will be very helpless, and they will maybe go begging to China, and you will ask their banking system for trade. So it is better that we go to this Chinese camp. This is his reasoning. What I feel, the logic which he has used for Chinese aggression does not hold true. The reason China has attacked, or the aggression which we see from China, is basically a policy which China is involved in, that is known as salami slicing. Now, salami slicing, it means that you take a small area, a very small area of the enemy over a large period of time, so that the enemy will not recognize that small areas have been encroached by the enemy, and this has been going since many years. And successive governments, especially the Congress government, they have neglected these border areas for decades, and they have turned a blind eye to the Chinese land grabbing in the region. And India had failed in protecting those borders, and up till 2020 India had lost lot of land to Chinese. And it was only after Narendra Modi government they understood that they started to take some action, and this aggression was a reaction to the action which Narendra Modi had taken to protect our border from this policy of Chinese. Because after Narendra Modi had understood, and before that also, Indian government started building roads and bridges, and the Chinese understood that their old policy was being threatened, and that is why they had taken this action, hoping that the resolve which India is showing will break down, and ultimately India will not build its infrastructure along the borders. My understanding is the Chinese foreign minister visited New Delhi only to gauge our resolve. How much are we still willing to stand up to Chinese aggression, or is there a way which we can, which will melt down? So that is the reason why the Chinese foreign minister had visited us. And also, there was some economic losses which were being faced by the Chinese. So, since 2020, there were calls across India to boycott Chinese goods. There were cases where an Indian railway had cancelled a contract with a Chinese firm, and Department of Telecommunication had notified BSNL and other telecom industries not to use any Chinese made products in upgradation. Mumbai had cancelled a monorail contract where the bidders were only Chinese companies. So numerous Chinese contracts and firms were being scrutinized, they were being stopped, Chinese import were undergoing some additional checks. So some pinch was being felt, and the Chinese foreign minister thought that maybe by his coming to India he could iron those issues. But the Indian government still had resolved to stand to the aggression to the Chinese government, and we hope that Indian government will find a quick solution to the problem which we are facing at our Indian borders. Thank you for this blog.